This fall, two military propaganda incidents ignited global public opinion within a week. The first incident involved a cultural loyalty letter on a helmet. A special report on Chinese state media CCTV's military channel featured Chinese Army pilot Zhou Xiaofen. In the footage, a sticker on his helmet was clearly visible. It wasn't the unit insignia. Instead, it was the classic emblem from the movie Top Gun, a skull with wings symbolizing the elite US Air Force pilots. Someone mocked it on X. Imagine doing military propaganda and forgetting to blur out the Top Gun logo. Peak CCTV. Even the Chinese can't watch it. The post quickly went viral, garnering over 2,000 likes and hundreds of shares, with the comment section joking, "This pilot must be sent by the CIA, right? Is the next poster going to feature the USS Ford?" But the truth goes much deeper. This time CCTV was filming real footage, and Zhou Xiaofen was indeed an Army pilot. So where did the Top Gun logo come from? The answer is almost certain. It was placed there by the pilot himself. The second incident involved a C-position enemy aircraft in a congratulatory image. On October 1st, the official Weibo account of the Chinese Army Airborne Corps posted a congratulatory image. The most eye-catching aircraft in the picture wasn't the J-20, but rather the US Air Force's F-22 Raptor, with a background featuring what appeared to be a silhouette of Soviet MiG-29 fighter jets. A Taiwanese military expert was the first to expose the error, and quickly global aviation enthusiast, model, hobbyist, and military blogger followed suit, verifying, sharing, and editing the image. In less than 24 hours, over 500 posts appeared on X platform, and a YouTube video edit made its way to the homepage of a 100,000 subscriber channel. Media outlets in Hong Kong and Taiwan, including Sunli News and Yahoo News, quickly picked up the story. These two incidents weren't a case of who didn't notice, but rather a collective failure across the entire command chain. It wasn't a simple PS mistake, nor was it a single failed review. The entire operation system of military propaganda, which has been running for decades, is now facing a systemic and irreparable collapse in the age of AI image recognition and global open source verification. Number 1. Symbols overwhelm facts. The common logic behind the sticker and the congratulatory image. Among global flying units, it's common for pilots to personalize their helmets with individual identifiers, but the Top Gun logo is far from an ordinary design. It represents an entire value system. Individual heroism, emphasizing personal ability, honor, and decision-making. Elitism, only the top pilots are allowed to enter Top Gun. Speed and freedom, the ultimate pursuit of the skies and willpower. Winners are rewarded, a cultural DNA of real competition and clear rewards. These principles directly contradict collectivism, obedience to CCP orders, and the party's control over the military that the CCP instills in its forces. When a pilot who has undergone strict political vetting chooses to adorn their helmet with the cultural symbol of the number one hypothetical enemy, they are, through their actions, submitting a cultural loyalty letter. What's even more outrageous is that this wasn't an individual blunder. CCTV's military propaganda films usually undergo 3 layers of review. Before filming, political commissioner, propaganda officers, and brigade-level commanders all conduct screenings. Didn't they see the sticker? Didn't they understand its meaning? During the filming, CCTV 7 is the National Defense and Military Channel with a detailed camera script, filming schedules, and image reviews. There's no way no one noticed. Before broadcasting, post-production editing, and political review, every second of footage is scrutinized and every word is approved. Such a conspicuous sticker passed through the entire approval process until broadcast, with green lights at every stage. There are only 2 possibilities. Either the entire command chain is completely unaware of international military culture, or everyone knows but no one dared to point it out. If no one realized what Top Gun was from start to finish, it suggests that the entire military propaganda system has lost touch with the basic international military culture. If everyone knew, but no one dared to point it out, it means the system has lost its basic honest feedback mechanism and has truly become the imperious new clothes. This is not the first time the CCP's propaganda has been slapped in the face by Top Gun. In 2011, CCTV inserted a Top Gun explosion scene into its combat drill report, pretending it was footage of Chinese fighter jets. In 2023, a photo of a PLA J-10C pilot helmet surfaced on Reddit, still featuring the Top Gun emblem. This time it appeared directly in the mainstream state media's military propaganda film, becoming a global laughingstock. If the helmet incident could still be blamed on a censorship oversight, the F-22 congratulatory image is the perfect example of the symbol-first logic. The designer's task was simple: make it majestic, so the process became. Search the image library for terms like fighter jet, stealth fighter, and futuristic technology. Select a high-resolution image with a striking angle and red coloring. Place it prominently in the center, add "Long live the motherland" text. Submit the draft, upload it, and call it done. There was no judgment on the model, no verification of the background, and no one even considered the question, is this our fighter jet? Because in the system, likeness is more important than accuracy. Slogans are more important than data, and symbols trumps everything. You might think there were gatekeepers behind the scenes. Sorry, these days the image review process is also standardized. Superiors only focus on the atmosphere, slogans, and political direction. No one dares to point out that the image is wrong, because doing so means causing trouble, delaying progress, and creating issues. Everyone is afraid of taking responsibility, so in the end, no one takes responsibility. In the end, this F-22 congratulatory image made its way through multiple layers of approval and proudly appeared on October 1st, featured on the official Chinese Army's Weibo homepage. Behind these two incidents lies the same operating logic. First, define the symbol as heroism, strength, and power, then make reality fit it. The helmet must be red enough, pure enough, and heroic enough, regardless of who the emblem represents. The congratulatory image must be powerful and futuristic, regardless of whether it's actually our own fighter jet. The propaganda must evoke emotions and go viral with little regard for factual accuracy. This symbol-first, script-driven system was once able to maintain its surface appearance thanks to a strict information control, but today it faces AI image recognition, global open source verification, and real-time screenshot archiving. Old scripts are crumbling, frame by frame, in a high-definition world. Number 2, deleting posts becomes the smoking gun, the failure of dual accounting in the AI era. After these two incidents, the CCP's response followed a highly consistent pattern. Helmet incident. All CCTV Weibo videos were taken down. Relevant videos on another video platform, Bilibili, were deleted. Posts mentioning the Top Gun were automatically blocked by the system. On an online forum named Zhihu, someone even asked, "Is Top Gun a new helmet?" and their post was flooded with blocked comments. F-22 incident. The official Weibo congratulatory image was deleted immediately. All comments in the comment section were cleared. Keywords like F-22 National Day congratulatory image and Airborne Corps were blacklisted. Weibo and Zhihu search results were filtered by the system. This dual accounting mechanism was highly effective in the past, internally deleting and controlling content while externally turning a blind eye, assuming that leaks outside the Great Firewall can be sacrificed as long as the situation is stable domestically. They believed that if the public inside the country couldn't see it, then it didn't happen. But the reality of 2025 is the CCP deleted the image, people already screenshot it, the CCP blocked Weibo, but people already copied it on the X platform, Telegram, and YouTube. Deleting posts not only failed to stop the damage, but instead triggered the typical Streisand effect. The spread of the F-22 incident. 0 to 6 hours, the Taiwanese military community account IDF Jingguo was the first to expose the error, with military experts verifying the model. 6 to 24 hours, over 500 archived tweets appeared on X platform with the hashtag PLA_F-22 trending. 24 to 48 hours, the YouTube video clip surpassed 100,000 views, with media outlets in Hong Kong and Taiwan picked up the story. 48 hours later, an ex-community named Open Source Intelligence on-site completed model comparisons, timestamp verification, and archive post-deletion records. This image was not deleted, it was permanently archived. Now, if you make an image, global audiences can verify its authenticity in 3 simple steps. Number 1, use Google Lens to scan and instantly recognize a model. Number 2, visit OSINT communities on X, check comparison images, analysis posts, and past data. Number 3, check Weibo for deleted posts, Zhihu for blocked comments, and Bilibili for restricted views. Once these actions occur, it's assumed that the image is indeed wrong. Deleting posts itself has become the strongest evidence. Today, many of the CCP's military propaganda tasks, including design and promotion, are outsourced to commercial advertising companies in the market. These companies excel at packaging, aesthetics, flashy images, and music, but they have no understanding of military affairs. Often, designers haven't even heard of the F-22. Their task is simple: make it majestic. The review process only focuses on atmosphere, slogans, and political direction, with no one checking the model, structure, or nozzle details. The result? The process is followed correctly, but the outcome is all wrong. The deeper issue is that the system, which claims to follow the party's command, does not dare to point out that the aircraft in the image belongs to the enemy. Why did no one notice that the image was wrong? The answer is simple. The system no longer allows for genuine feedback. Everyone is only accountable to those above them, focusing solely on whether the leaders are satisfied rather than whether the public believes it. Over time, the entire system has boiled down to 2 actions: create things that look right, quickly delete content that others say it's wrong. This is a typical closed-loop propaganda system. It appears stable, but it's actually incredibly fragile. And once this closed loop faces the open loop of the digital age, it will collapse in an instant. 3. Deteriorating recognition ability, when blockbuster format distorts perception. These 2 incidents reveal a deeper issue. The CCP's military propaganda system has lost its most basic recognition ability. It's not that someone made a mistake, but rather that the entire system no longer knows how to see. Why? Because they no longer rely on expertise to make judgments, but instead rely on templates to match. As long as something looks like theirs, it is assumed to be their side without further verification. The result is a failure we saw this time. The US military's most advanced 5th-generation fighter jet was mistaken for the Chinese military's flagship and used in a CCP National Day congratulatory image. Where does this template come from? It comes from decades of consistent propaganda and indoctrination. In 2024, the National Radio and Television Administration approved 50 mainstream military dramas with a budget of over 2 billion yuan. You can guess the content. It's not about aircraft carrier battles or technological triumphs. These dramas show the protagonist fighting the Japanese while casually falling in love, and yet they top Bilibili's hot list with millions of views. Who's watching? Not elderly people, not Gen Z and younger people. When a generation of young soldiers grow up watching such dramas, can they accurately identify the differences between the F-22 and J-20 in terms of appearance? Can they understand radar cross-sections or supersonic cruise? All they know is one thing: they are strong. The truth: F-22 versus J-20 technical comparison. Radar cross-section. The F-22 has a radar cross-section 1/10,000 square meters, making it nearly invisible. The J-20 has a radar cross-section of 0.5 square meters, which is 5,000 times larger. Supersonic cruise. The F-22 can reach Mach 1.82 while the J-20 tops out at Mach 1.5, with its engine performance always being a limiting factor. Deployment scale. The US military has deployed over 1,500 F-35s globally, while the J-20's production has yet to surpass 200 units. But none of this matters, because in the military propaganda script, what you see is not a performance comparison, but in one sentence: we are world leaders. This F-22 fiasco is the ultimate manifestation of this cognitive black hole. The designer had only one image in mind. The centerpiece must be a domestic stealth fighter with a background that has red, circles, and grandeur. But which fighter jet looks the most futuristic? Of course, the F-22 is the coolest one in the image library. So, the F-22 was placed front and center in the CCP National Day congratulatory image. It doesn't matter internally. What's important is that it looks majestic, can drive shares, and can trend on social media. The deeper issue is this: the Chinese military, since the 1979 Sino-Vietnamese War, has not had any large-scale real combat experience, 40 years and zero formal wars. And what about the opponent? The US military alone has deployed over 1,500 F-35s globally. Multinational joint exercises have become routine, with operational rotations and full-fledged coordination systems in place. Even the battlefield dynamics in the Ukraine war are constantly reshaping tactical logic with a combination of hybrid warfare, drones, and AI-driven command. And the CCP's military? It still relies on military parades to showcase model combat capabilities. The number of flight hours is far from adequate. The real-world ammunition usage rate is close to zero. There is frequent turnover at the senior leadership level, with the rocket force and strategic support force almost undergoing rebuilding-style reorganizations. How can you expect such an army relying on helmet stickers to experience war and TV show footage to imagine the battlefield, to make accurate identifications and correct decisions in wartime? Do you believe that? When recognition ability is formatted by blockbuster dramas and friend or foe perception is rigidly controlled by templates, the entire military propaganda system becomes a cognitive black hole. It is constantly absorbing resources and stacking illusions, yet unable to make any clear judgments externally. Number 4, the mirror of truth in the AI era, the systemic collapse of credibility. F-22 incident is just the beginning. 2025 is a year of military propaganda failures for the CCP in the AI era. Statistics shows that in the past year, the failure incident in CCP military propaganda errors in 15% of the content or material disputes have doubled compared to 2020. The most common issue includes material errors, such as the F-22 image, data falsification, such as the claim of the Fujian aircraft carrier being the world's first, background loss of control, such as the helmet sticker incident, backfire in dissemination, such as deleted post triggering overseas re-edits. This is a structural consequences when a system prioritizes stability over truth and treats deleting posts as the solution. It is destined to become increasingly blind and inept. 3 rules have emerged. Rule 1. The more openly you act, the more confidence you have. The US military's DARPA publishes updates on all major projects every year, including failed equipments. The Chinese Communist Party only reports successes and keeps failures hidden, with even specific flight test parameters of the J-20 classified. What's the result? The world trusts the opponent more and doesn't believe you. Rule 2. The more template-driven, the less it evolves. If you outsource the design of fighter jet images to advertising companies with no military background, and the reviewers only cares about whether it looks red and majestic without checking the model, structure, or nozzle details, this is the result. The process is right, but the outcome is wrong. Rule 3. Deleting posts is solid evidence. The more you censor, the more it spreads. Every deletion and traffic restriction becomes content evidence for the next viral overseas hit. Overseas re-edits and experts' commentary by knowledgeable netizens far outstrip the domestic firefighting teams. In 2025, just a military propaganda failures video on Bilibili surpassed 5 million views. Audiences are no longer fooled. They're watching your failures to deconstruct your lies. Ironically, the CCP once sought to use AI for cognitive warfare, investing heavily in TikTok promotions, English language videos, and international influencers. In 2024 alone, TikTok pushes China's peaceful rise content 500 million times. Over $100 million were spent on English videos, international influences, and cultural exports. But what AI truly revolutionized is the ability to verify, compare, and recognize technologies that in turn strikes precisely at their most vulnerable soft spot. Overly packaged false stories are exposed in an instant. The act of deleting posts itself becomes the starting point for the next round of amplifications. Every piece of propaganda material becomes archivable, analyzable, and comparable evidence. A report from Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, highlights that China's cognitive warfare is facing a youth immunity response in North America. AI users are naturally wary of packaged language, and searching for counter evidence has become a mainstream habit. Meanwhile, within the Chinese military, the backlash is beginning. An increasing number of young soldiers are bypassing the Great Firewall to self-learn OSINT and external network analysis. The trustworthiness of propaganda content continues to decline, with surveys in 2025 showing a 20% increase in internal dissatisfaction. So, the real issue is this: you use AI to shoot videos, edit images, and create posters, but you haven't learned to use AI to alter the script, change the system, and adjust cognitive structures. In the end, AI isn't your tool, it's your opponent. Number 5, true skills does not fear comparison, but false victories will ultimately become a joke. From the Top Gun helmet to the F-22 congratulatory image, they all reflect the systemic collapse of the same old script in the digital age. The scariest part isn't that you use the wrong F-22. The scariest part is that you don't even realize using the wrong F-22 is a problem. You treat it as just an image, a scene, a minor mistake, but the world doesn't see it that way. The world will ask, have you lost even the basic ability to distinguish between friend and foe? Do you not have any professionals who can guard the final line of defense? Have you turned propaganda into a means of self-deception? Aiming to be a great power is not shameful. Aspiring for a strong military and a well-equipped army is not disgraceful. But when you can't even place the right fighter jet on a CCP National Day congratulatory image, when you can't even get a single poster right, how can you expect people to believe your so-called strong military dream? True strength has never been created by editing videos. A truly strong nation is never afraid of others' image. Only false confidence needs to rely on deleting images to survive. These two blunders are like the result of an operating system written decades ago, now facing a blue screen moment in the 2025 world of 4K HD. AI image recognition, a global open source verification. True skills does not fear comparison. False victories will eventually be archived as jokes. AI doesn't wait for anyone, and it's time for China's military propaganda to wake up.